this. Yeah, it's just this camera. It's a different camera. Hello and welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We are back with another live stream. I'm joined by Jordan as per usual. And we're going to talk about two players that have been massively linked with a move to Everton Football Club over the last 48 hours or so. That is, of course, Allan and Doucouré of Watford. Both players had been linked with Everton previously in the transfer window a few weeks back. However, since it's sort of come out that Everton have walked away from the Gabriel situation and turned our back on that situation, it really seems to have heated up in the situation regarding Allan and Doucouré. Some journalists even going as far as to say that both players have already agreed personal terms and both players are happy to come and join Carlo Ancelotti at Everton, and it's just a matter of now agreeing a fee with Napoli and Watford, of course, for both players. So we're going to sit down, we're going to go through all of the rumours, we're going to talk about all of the information released about it, give our opinions on both players, whether it's realistic that both will come in, whether it's a choice of one or the other, and yeah, just talk all about both of them, because I said this in my video yesterday, Jordan. Firstly, how are you and how are you doing? And secondly, it seems like since the news come out that we are walking away from that Gabriel situation and we've sort of turned our back a little bit on it and said, yeah, you know, it's wasting too much time, it seems like there's been a step forward in the rumours now, and the players that we're being linked with, and the likes of Allan and the likes of Doucouré. It's solid links from solid sources, and it actually seems like Everton are starting to sort of get their arse into gear really in the transfer window, and I personally think that's because of the fact that we've turned our back on the Gabriel situation and said, right, we're not wasting any more time on that. So how are you? And firstly, how do you feel about that, obviously?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Are you, by the way, yeah?
Yeah, I'm sound, mate. I'm sound, yeah. Hot, but I'm sound.
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I mean, I think we done a video 2 weeks ago, didn't we? Yeah. And I think you would have thought we had a player in by now.
I know.
Because that was 2 weeks ago when we were just talking about the last player, players we were linked with and that. But yeah, it does look like we're walking away from Gabriel. It looks like, I think Arsenal are probably going to get him.
Yeah.
I think it's Arsenal, is it? The English club?
Yeah, Arsenal and Man United, but it's looking like it's going to be Arsenal.
Yeah, but these are, the Allan rumour especially has picked up a lot, hasn't it, the last week or two, and it does look like, hopefully this time next week if we do a video, that at least one of them players will be in, going by what I'm reading anyway. Yeah,
well, again, the rumours that we've been seeing over the last 48 hours or so are strong rumours, whereas before it was rumours from publications that didn't have much reliability, or it was a newspaper from here, or it was a journalist that had very little following and had only been doing this for 6 months or so here. It's now, the likes of Fabrizio Romano, DiMarzio, The Athletic, all of these sorts of sources of that, a lot of people would class as reliable, are coming out with a lot of, clear information regarding these two players. Certainly, Doucouré over the last sort of 24 hours or so, it's become quite evident that Everton are looking at the player, and that, it might be a case of upping our bid a little bit because Watford are wanting a little bit more than we originally wanted. And that's one thing that both deals have got in common, haven't they, is that both players seem absolutely sold on coming to Everton Football Club. Carlo Ancelotti seems like he absolutely wants to bring both players in, but it's just a case of Everton maybe not wanting to pay as much as the clubs are wanting, and those clubs sort of holding out for their original price. And that was the original situation we were in with Gabriel all those months back when Everton had a gentleman's agreement on the table. We come back a few months later after everything that had gone on in the world. We said, listen, we don't want to pay that, and Leo basically said, well, we want you to pay that, and then we had this ongoing discussion back and forth, and now we've walked away from it. So hopefully it doesn't get to that stage, and hopefully whether it be Everton upping their bid, whether it be Napoli dropping their asking price down, or Watford, we bring these players in, because it's important that we do bring players in now, isn't it? Look, we're sitting here on the 20th of August. The fixture list has just been released today, and we play our first game of the season. I think it's the 12th or the 13th of September against Tottenham Hotspur away from home. It's important that we really start to bring some names in, isn't it, now over the next couple of weeks or so, certainly with the lads being back in pre-season, first pre-season game being on Saturday, of course, against Blackpool. So we can't really afford to wait another 2 or 3 weeks, can we, to be in the same position?
No, I think I remember Carlo saying he wants them mid-August before pre-season even started.
There you go.
But on the other hand, mate, we have got to be careful with the prices we're paying as well, because everyone always refers to, did we really pay that much for Sigurdsson? Did we really pay this much for Yerry Mina, who's always injured? I'm a big fan of Mina, by the way, but
that's the
people
argument.
say he's always injured, don't they? And people always bring up the prices of players, and we have spent a lot of money, so we have got to get players at the right price as well. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation. You want them in straight away, but you don't want to be overspending either. Yeah. So we've got to watch it with the FFP, mate. I think we're in the top 15 clubs in Europe who've spent the most in the past 5 years or something. So, we've got to be careful.
Yeah, you're spot on, and that's where the Gabriel, and I don't want to talk too much about the Gabriel situation because it's done and dusted, but that's where the Gabriel situation sort of faltered, didn't it? Is that a lot of people were just sort of the impression, spend the money, give them what they want, just bring them in, just let's do it. It's not our money at the end of the day, but you'd have to sort of take a step back and think, well, what's happened in the world? Everton had spent months without any ticket sales, months without any people coming through the door, months without any sales face to face, whether it be food, merchandise. The Premier League had only just released their sort of money for the clubs, because obviously there was that uncertainty as to whether the Premier League would return, and obviously Everton didn't furlough any of the staff as well, which a lot of clubs did. So you'd have to sort of look at it both ways, don't you? Yes, it's annoying, and yes, we'd love to just throw a load of money at that player and bring them in, but financial wise, like you mentioned there, financial fair play as well. We can't just be throwing a lot of money. And other sides like Lille, for example, they're also in a bad situation with financial fair play. I think they have to prove a loss of less than 30 million over the next 3 years, or they're in deep shit. So again, that was just a bad mix, a bad cocktail mix of two clubs that couldn't really afford. Everton couldn't really afford to pay more, and Lille couldn't really afford to accept less. But hopefully with the Allan and Doucouré situation, it's a little bit different. Hopefully, even if Everton have to pay a little bit more, it's not too much, it's not too significant. And you're spot on, we don't want to be sitting here in 12 months time saying we paid 30 million for Doucouré and he's done nothing, or we paid 40 million for Allan and he's been injured, because that's genuinely the go-to conversation. If a player doesn't start well, or a player doesn't have a decent run of games when they come in, it's genuinely that how much did we spend for him, and oh my god, we've overspent it. And again, listen, we have overspent in buying Gylfi Sigurdsson, we overspent in buying Yannick Bolasie, we've overspent numerous amounts of times over the last couple of years or so, and consequently, ironically, that's all been under new Barcelona manager Ronald Koeman. But anyway, we've overspent a lot.
I get stiff me for being on 120 grand a week, and we got him for free.
Exactly. and again, and that's the club who've made that decision. So I understand the discussions and negotiations regarding transfers and fees and prices and wages, etc. And that is no doubt why negotiations are going on continuously, and no doubt why we don't just go in for a player and bring him in within 24 hours, because there are those discussions. Listen, in an ideal world, as fans, we'd have already brought Allan in, we'd have already brought Doucouré in, we'd have probably brought a winger in, and would be sound going into pre-season. But that's not how it is. Obviously, that's intensified by the shorter pre-season and the situation with what's happened in the world, and the fast end to the season and the quick turnover and stuff like that. So both players then, listen, Doucouré, obviously we know him from playing in the Premier League, played at Watford for the last couple of seasons. Actually a player that was massively linked with Everton last summer, Abdoulaye Doucouré. This rumour sort of really started to get some tension when the Fabrizio Romano and Damasio come out a couple of days ago and stated that Everton are back in talks with Napoli for Allan, and Doucouré is also on the list, as Ancelotti strongly wants to bring in a new midfielder. The talks then just continued from there. There was brief mentions of Everton already bidding before any of that information come out. Everton already bidding around about £20-25 million for the player. However, Watford had declined the first bid. Watford are apparently open to sell the player, but they want at least £25 million up front, and then add-ons and bonuses, etc., which could take it to around about £30 million, if not more. Watford obviously have just been relegated as well, and again, similar to the Lille situation, they're going to want as much money for one of their key players as possible. In all of these rumours, the rumours are that Doucouré is happy to come to Everton. He's already agreed personal terms, he already agreed some form of contract, and he wants to come and play under Carlo Ancelotti. So again, didn't have a fantastic season last season, of course, with Watford, ultimately ended up getting relegated. But I go back to this point every time I talk about this, is that we brought in Idrissa Gana Gueye after he'd been relegated with Aston Villa, and look how well he done for the football club. Is Doucouré a player that you'd be looking at now to bring in? Do you think he strengthens our team? Do you think for £30-35 million, which he'd probably cost us, it'd be a good investment? I think he's around about 27 years old, don't quote me on that. He's coming towards the back end of his 20s. Again, like I said, certainly a player that we wanted to bring in when we sold Idrissa Gana Gueye last summer before we brought Jean-Philippe Gbamin in. Just are you of the same view now, or are you a little bit cautious about the signing?
No, I think it'd be a good signing myself. 27 is a good age. All right, yeah, probably mightn't have too much of a sell-on value, but if he takes us to the next level, which I think he will be an important cog in the midfield if we do get him, because he's better than every centre midfielder we've got. Powerhouse, gets up and down the pitch, just strong, tall, just a player we need. And I always remember when we play Watford as well, there's always like when the crosses are coming in, he's always on the edge of the box waiting to pounce. So he is box to box really, and I he can travel with the ball. I think he's a good player, and I would definitely have him. 30 million sounds about right. Hopefully we can get him for like maybe 25, because Watford have been relegated, but I think I heard something today that they're going to want 30 and we've offered 20. So hopefully it'll meet somewhere in the middle there with all the little tinkering and stuff. But I would definitely have Doucoure,
Yeah, definitely. I agree, mate, completely. And like you mentioned, he's a player that gets in the box. He's a player that scores goals. I think he scored 4 goals and got 5 assists last season. But over the last 3 seasons, he's consistently in and around that 5 or 6 goal mark. And that's more than any midfielder scored for Everton Football Club this season. In fact, that's more than any winger scored for Everton Football Club this season. 4 goals and 5 assists. So it's a massive improvement. Is it 20 goals and 20 assists? No, it's not. But it's a massive improvement on the team. And you mentioned their sell-on value. And I had this discussion yesterday. And listen, it's absolutely fantastic bringing young players in. It's absolutely fantastic bringing players in like Richarlison, like Moise Kean, who have got a lot of potential and got a lot of room to grow and have got a sell-on value ultimately. But Everton aren't really in the position to just bring those type of players in at the moment, are we? We need players that are going to come in and make an instant impact. We need players that are going to come in, whether it's 29, whether they're 21, whether they're 27, whether they're 35. We need players that are going to come into this team, start week in, week out, and make an impact and improve us. And like you mentioned with Doucoure, he gets in the middle, he's box to box. I think he had a stat, not last season, the season before, where he'd got into the box, the opposition box, more times as a midfielder than any other midfielder in the league. It might have even been in Europe. So he gets in and around. He's a big, tall, physical presence, good in the air, decent enough on the ball, and a threat going forward, or more of a threat going forward than any other midfielder that we've currently got. On that point then about bringing experienced players in, or players of a certain age, or how do you feel about it? Do you agree with me? Are you sort of the level that yes, it's brilliant bringing in younger players, but there's absolutely no point bringing those younger players in if you haven't got quality players that are ready now, not will be ready in 2 years, not will be ready in 6 months, are ready now to make an instant impact on the pitch?
Yeah, look, the more I've been thinking about it, because I knew we were doing this video this week, the more it makes sense to get these type of players in. It's just sometimes I do worry about the asking price, especially if the next player we're going to talk about in a minute. But look, we are at risk if we bring in potential again, because we've already got a lot of players with potential, like you said, Keane. Richarlison is alright, he's already nearly there, but he's got room to improve. Calvert-Lewin, we've already got a lot of players with potential to grow there. Young Anthony Gordon. So maybe bringing these players in will help them players as well. And look, I don't really think Tom Davies is good enough, but if these players are in next to him, maybe he'll improve a little bit, because he's always been lost in that midfield. And I think, I do think it makes sense, especially with Doucoure. He's got a lot of Premier League experience. He'll just drop straight in there. He's a first team starter every week. But like I said, it does bother me a little bit, the price sometimes. It depends how much. But on the other hand, we need to get to the next level now and start, not next level, but, get better so we can get better players in next season or the season after. We need to get up there. We need to start getting into Europe. And getting into Europe will help FFP as well. So I think it does make sense a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on about that. And I've said this point for the last 2 years or so, is there's absolutely no point in having good young players with all of the potential to grow and all of the you know, the potential to be one of the best players in the world. If the players that they're playing with, they're experienced players that they're playing with, the players that they're meant to be learning off, the players that are meant to be guiding them are useless, or don't bother running around the pitch, or stand round and point in Gylfi Sigurdsson's case, or aren't good enough on the wing in Theo Walcott's or Alex Iwobi's case. You need players that are there that they can look at and go, I want to be as good as him, I want to be able to do that, I want to be able to be as confident on the ball, I want to be as cool as the ball. You don't want on the ball, you don't want a Tom Davies, for example, like you mentioned, or a Moise Keane looking at Gylfi Sigurdsson going, well, he's my leader, he's the experience, he's the player that I'm meant to be learning off, and he's just standing there pointing, or he's just running away from the ball. You don't want that. You need players, as you know, as important as it is to have young players that have got a high ceiling and a big future ahead of them, you need players that are ready now and that are going to come in and have an instant impact on the team and have got that little bit of experience. And by that little bit of experience, I don't mean somebody at the category of maybe a Fabian Delph who's won everything, been there and is coming down for a big payday and then he'll probably go and hang his boots up. I mean somebody that's still got a lot to give, still got more to achieve, but is sort of halfway. He's not right at the start of his career with all of the potential. He's sort of here where he's still got more to achieve, so he's got that heart, he's got that passion, but he's also better than everybody below him and he's ready to fit in straight away and get going. Sort of fits into...
Just quickly on Doucouré as well, when you're mentioning that, you know, like they want to get, you know, sort of want to get better and stuff. That Doucouré, I think someone came in for him, you know, the national team, I don't know, some African team, I can't remember who it was, and he said no, because I want to get into that French team.
Yeah. So
he's got a lot to prove anyway, and he think maybe by coming to Everton, he feels like he can do that.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on, and again, no, it's all right. No, it's all right, mate. You're spot on, and that's the level of play that we need. Is somebody that's got that heart, got that passion, want to improve, but has already at a decent enough level as it is. Not players that at the start of their career who are going, right, okay, I can be the best thing since sliced bread, but I need 6 months, 12 months, 2 years to really get going, and not players at the end of their career who are going, where's my last payday, where's my last 200 grand a week before I retire. And obviously, listen, you know, that's massively important to bring those type of players in to have that instant impact. Onto another player then, I had a point in my head then, but I've just completely forgot it. Onto another player then that would make an instant impact, 29 years old, Allan of Napoli. Again, another player that was mentioned in that article written, or that tweet written by Fabrizio Romano a few days ago, stating that him and Damasio believe that Everton are back in talks with Napoli midfielder Allan. There's then been a load of rumours since then. Nico Scherer, who's another journalist, not as reliable, but has had some things right in the past, said that Everton are in advanced talks for Allan with personal terms agreed. And the most recent rumour has been earlier on today, which has come from Corriere dello Sport, which are again an Italian publication, one of those that have linked us with a load of players over the past 6 to 12 weeks, and they have said that Everton are closing in on a €30 million deal for Allan, and it could be tied up and done by this weekend. So since we heard that little bit of reliable information from Damasio, from The Athletic, from Fabrizio Romano about Allan, we have since heard, you know, these little publications that mightn't be seen as reliable as coming out and saying, yeah, it's nailed on, it's getting done. Personally, I said this yesterday, I haven't been as confident that Everton will bring a player in a long time than I am that will bring Allan in. I just think everything works. I think the player wants to come to Everton Football Club. There's very strong rumours from reliable sources that he's turned down Atletico Madrid, he's turned down AC Milan, he's turned down some top European clubs to come and play under Carlo Ancelotti again. I think it's very clear he's a player that Carlo Ancelotti massively trusts and wants to bring into the football club, and I think Napoli would be happy to sell because ultimately they're going to want to fund other players, i.e. Gabriel. It's just about that right price. So 29 years old, like I said, Everton is said to have been in advanced talks by a load of journalists. We know that Everton are interested, we know the player wants to come, we know that Carlo Ancelotti massively trusts him. Allan then, would you happy to bring him in? 29 years old, would instantly come in and make an impact. He's the type of midfielder that gets involved, runs around, throws himself in, isn't scared to put a challenge in. He's got bollocks. I'm just going to put it just straight. He's got bollocks. He's not scared. He won't stand around. He won't point the finger. He won't say, you do that, I don't want to do the dirty work. He'll get involved. He'll lash a tackle in. He'll make himself known. He'll drag players with him. He'll drag players forward. He will improve players just by them looking at him going, fucking hell, I need to match his work rate here, or I'm going to get absolutely booed off this pitch, or I'm not going to be in this team next week. I need to be at that level. And not only that, you know, some players you see have that sort of will throw a tackle in and have got that little dog attitude, but they're not very good on the ball, or they don't have much quality, or they've just got that attitude and that's it. Whereas Allan, listen, personally for me, I think he's good on the ball as well. He's got a good range of passing. He gets himself involved. He's played at at a high level for a long time. So Allan, then again, is this another one you're confident that will get over the line? Obviously, similar links to the Doucoure situation. Advanced talks. Player wants to come to Everton. Contract agreed with the player, but we're just trying to work out the price with the parent club of the player. So again, you're happy to bring Allan in? Is this somebody that we need in your opinion?
When I was thinking about it a while ago, I was like, some of the prices we're getting thingy with them. Look, I know it's not my money, and everyone says it's not your money and all that. That's fine. But as a fan, you like we talked about the FFP before. You do worry about it a bit, because if you can't spend money in future, but forget that. The more I think about it, the more I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Carlo Ancelotti obviously wants him. Yeah. And he obviously wants to come here, like you said, he's been rejecting Atletico and that. He's another one who just looks like he wants to play for Everton.
Yeah.
So
the right attitude.
The right attitude. Big thumbs up from me there. And I've been looking into Allan the past week or so, because we've been linked with him and stuff. And he looks to me like captain material to me, because he never gives up a challenge. I've seen loads of these videos where he's just tackling people, and then he might lose a little bit, but he doesn't give up. He never gives up, and he looks good on the ball. Sets a tempo, I think, for the whole team. And if players are looking at him doing that, I think he'll go around, maybe bollocking a few players as well if they're not doing the same as him. Like, I just think he'll set the tempo for this team, and they can, sort of learn a lot from him. To be honest, does look like a really, really good player, and a proper professional as well, to be honest. So, I think I'm up for him. I do think it's exactly what this team needs. 40 million. Okay, maybe we could hopefully get him a little bit cheaper, because you were never going to get that back. But it's just, I do think he'd be perfect for this team, for the type of player that he is.
Spot on. I couldn't have put it better myself, mate. Like you mentioned, absolutely perfect. Captain material, leadership qualities, and I think that's why Carlo Ancelotti is so keen to bring him into the football club. Ancelotti, not only with that relationship that he's got with Allan, he only had to call Allan and say, do you want to come to Everton? And Allan's rejecting Atletico Madrid, who are the Champions League side. He's rejecting sides on the up in Italy. He's rejecting everybody because he wants to come and play for Everton. Big tick, big tick in that box. Massively, looks like he's got a really, really good attitude, and again, like you mentioned, leadership qualities. He's a player that will drag players through games. He's a player that will pick players up, point the finger and say, fucking throw a challenge in now, or I'll drag you off the pitch myself. And that's exactly what we need. We need these players to have the right, fear is not necessarily a bad thing in football. If you fear your captain, if you fear the players next year, as long as you're not absolutely shit scared of them, if you've got a level of fear and respect where you think, right, okay, I know if I give it 110%, he'll shake me hand and say, well played, but if I give any less, I'm getting a bollocking. That's what you need, and that's exactly what we need at Everton Football Club. We've got far too many players who I think just aren't scared to put in a bad performance and are happy to walk off the pitch and go, not a good day for us today, we bounce back next week, and then just sit on the couch. Whereas if there's a player going out there thinking, I'm not necessarily saying they have to have an unbelievable game, because listen, the quality of our squad, I don't think it's capable to have unbelievable games, but going out there thinking, if I don't give it 110%, I'm getting bollocks. Then maybe Allan can be Carlo Ancelotti's little poster boy in doing that, as to say, right, okay, I'm not really the type of manager who's going to scream and shout on the touchline. I'm a little bit more cool, I'm a little bit more collected, but I'm bringing this player in to do that for me. I'm bringing this player in to get about the pitch and tell you if you're not doing it. I'm bringing this player in to instill the fight, instill the heart. And I think that's one of the big reasons as to why Carlo Ancelotti wants to bring him in, because look, Carlo very clearly isn't interested in the age of the player, 29 years old. Clearly isn't interested in the fact that there's no sell-on value. Clearly isn't interested in the fact that we're going to pay 35, 40 million pound for him. So it obviously, he must be so desperate to bring him into the football club, and it would make absolute sense, because that's what we're lacking. That's what we need at this club, is that leadership, is that quality in the centre of the park, because we simply haven't got it. If you're enjoying the team, by the way, so far, please do hit the like button. It only takes a second. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Like I said,
just quickly there, when you're saying about the leadership and that, like they might fear him and stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of ex-Man United players who absolutely hated Roy Keane on the day. They'll look at the medals now and go, well, I respect him because I maybe not have got this medal if he were in my team.
Exactly, and that's it. It's that level of respect, but it's that level of, if I give it 110% and I'm shit, he'll probably say, you're a bit shit, but you give it 110%. If I give 50%, I'm going to get belted off this pitch. So it's that level of, I can't drop my game here, because I'm going to get embarrassed because his game's at 100%, but B, I'm going to get screamed at in the dressing room as well. And that's what we need. We haven't got enough of that. We just haven't got enough players that drag players through games. We haven't got enough leadership on the pitch. We haven't got enough players who aren't scared to have a go at their teammates. It's always like, putting an arm around them or saying, don't worry, you'll get better overnight. No, we don't need that. We need them to say, listen, I watched you for 25 minutes there and you didn't even run for that challenge. You didn't even get involved. Do what I'm doing. That's exactly what we need, and that's definitely what Allan will bring. I'm again, like I said, over all of the players that we've been linked with, I think we've been linked with over 150 players since Carlo Ancelotti's come into the football club. We've probably spoke about 90% of those 150 players. This is the one that I realistically think will happen. I don't know. I don't have the feeling very often with players because I know that there's a lot of, paper talk that goes on in football, and I know that one week something could be one way and the other week it can be completely different. Look at the Gabriel situation, for example, and I'm not sitting here saying Allan will 100% be an Everton player, because anything can happen in football. He could turn around tomorrow and go, actually, no. Or Ancelotti could turn around tomorrow and go, actually, I found somebody else. Sorry, cheers for the talk, but no. But I am more confident than I've been in a long, long time that Everton will get this deal done. I just think everything's fallen into place, and it's just that, like you mentioned, 5 or 10 million that we're budgeting over with Napoli now for him to come in, and there'll be no issues with personal terms, hopefully no issues with the medical, and he'll come in and he'll get involved straight away, and we'll see a change in the team. I honestly do think that. We'll get into the live comments then, see what everybody's saying. Nearly 100 people watching. Massive thanks to everybody for getting involved. Spotbot says, hey, Cam and Jordan, hope you're having a good day. Not too bad, mate. He also says, I would love for us to bring in Thiago Silva. Again, he is a player that brings in leadership. Obviously, he's a little bit older and probably wouldn't be able to offer us as much as Allan would. Certainly wouldn't be able to play 38 games in a season, but he's a player that pulls players through situations, drags them forward, raises the level of the team. I don't think we're in for Thiago Silva. I think he's more than likely going to sign another contract at PSG, certainly if they go on and win the Champions League on Sunday.
We're in for him today.
Which, sorry?
I heard Chelsea were in for him today.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Again, he's solid. Obviously, he's a leader, he's a captain, but I think if he wins that Champions League at PSG, he'll do another season there and then he'll probably retire. And why would he be thinking of moving football clubs anyway when he's preparing for the Champions League final? I don't know if he's ever won a Champions League, Thiago Silva, actually. I'm not too sure.
No, me neither, mate. Can't recall.
But he's been in and around there for years and years at PSG, and he'll want nothing more than to win that trophy. And Sportbotcher says Anthony Robinson has gone to Fulham. Do you see us playing the youngster? Now that Anthony Robinson, do you see us playing Nkunku? I still think we'll bring in a left back before the end of the transfer window to be back up to Luca Dean. How do you feel about that one? Do you think the young lad will be given that sort of step up, or do you think he'll go into the under-23s and we'll bring in some cover in some form?
It's a hard one, mate, because I don't really know anything about him, to be honest, and it's probably all. I know he's training with the first team, isn't he? So it probably depends on what Carlo thinks of him. Yeah. I don't know. That's a hard one because I just never really watched them.
I just think we'll say.
I think they'll be looking at a backup left back, to be honest.
I think we'll say go in the under-21s, 23s, whatever it's called, for a year. Work hard there, get game time week in, week out. We'll bring in a left back on loan, probably an older left back who's not going to play much on loan for a season. Get rid of them and then he can come in next season. Sonny says, alright everyone, Allan and Doucoure would transform on midfield, can't wait for the new season with transfer seeming likely. Let's hope so, mate, let's hope so. I think it's Tom in the live comments. He says, evening everyone, thanks for tuning in. The lads are here to give us the latest on Allan and Doucoure. Shabba says, should have turned our back on the deal months ago. I assume you're talking about Gabriel. What's your thoughts on the Gabriel situation then? Are you happy that we've walked away from it? Are you in agreement? Do you think that we should have done it months ago and not waste time on it? Or are you just relieved now that we've sort of gone, no, you know what, I'm not wasting any more time on that?
I think it was done months ago, mate, wasn't it? Until this COVID came along.
It was, yeah.
look, from what I've heard, and Harry Potter would have massively improved us, I feel, but I'm more concerned about the midfield, to be honest. I mean, I did say a few weeks ago on the live stream that we done that I want 4 centre backs, but now we've got Branthwaite coming through, Gibson's back, maybe he could fill the void a little bit. You know, Gabaman can play centre half. And what I did there the other day, I heard Everton are after a right back who can play centre half as well. Is that Dalot? Is it from Man United?
Dalot, yeah.
I think that's a very, very, very sensible move from Everton if they can get a right back who can play centre half.
Yeah,
so
spot on.
I'm not too down about it. So I'm just more concerned about the midfield, mate. To be honest.
Yeah, me too. We need players that are versatile and that can play in various different positions, don't we? And ultimately, ultimately that's massively important. Tom also says Gabriel definitely set on Arsenal now. Jason says funny how the club who got rid of 55 staff can buy Gabriel and Willian. Well, there you go. What's everyone's thoughts on Allan then for 30 million? Ancelotti does have a massive pulling factor. You are absolutely spot on. Terry says Gomez, Sigurdsson and Davis all had post-lockdown games to stake their claim. They were all undies. 2 centre midfielders targeted as a result. It's simple when you think about it. Exactly. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. It really, really is. And Lenny says Allan will be perfect. We'll give lazy players like Sigurdsson and Davis a kick up the arse when they're playing shite. Support Botch says, is this a Mighty Blues and Toffee Blues partnership? It certainly is. And James has just subscribed. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, of course, and leave the live stream and leave the video a like. Briefly, just want to talk about the fixtures that were released then before we finish up the live stream. Tottenham Hotspur are away from home, first game of the season. West Brom at home, Goodison Park. The week after, play Liverpool on the 17th of October, 5th game into the season. What were your initial thoughts when you seen those fixtures then? Any that stick out to you? Or was it just a case of, yeah, it's fixtures, we have to play everyone, move on?
Weirdly, I looked for Leeds United at home before anything because maybe Eric's a Leeds fan, and we've been saying for ages we'll go to the Leeds and Everton game together. Yeah. But it looks like it's getting played in November, so probably might be able to go. I don't think they'll have full stadiums then. But what did do me head in a little bit? I'm not being. I never moan about fixtures ever, but this one done me head in. Liverpool at home, the 5th game in, so they're going to get the advantage of the crowd again.
Yep, spot on.
We've missed 2 derbies in 2 years now.
Spot on.
That really annoyed me.
Spot on, and again, I'm the exact same. It's gone beyond the point of, that's a coincidence, isn't it? That means that over 2 seasons, 2 Merseyside derbies at Goodison Park will have been played in front of no one, and the 2 Merseyside derbies at Anfield will have likely, one of them at least, has been played in front of a crowd. The second one, February. If there's going to be football fans in stadiums this season, it's more than likely going to be happening by February, or at least, around that time. I'm spot on, mate.
Post again, no, with no crowd.
But there you go. We might. Hopefully, we played better with no crowd, to be honest. So hopefully we might, do it again. No, but listen, they're not randomised, are they? We all know. Nobody's kidding ourselves. We all know they're not randomised. If they were randomised, then in 21 years of me being alive, Everton have never drawn Liverpool out on first game of the season. If they were randomised, that would have at least happened once. They're always around about the same times a year: October, February, December, February, every single season.
You get a terrible December fixture list as well.
Always, every year, mate, every single year. And you look at the key, I think the 4 fixtures that, excluding the Merseyside derby, I think the 4 fixtures that most fans look towards when they see the fixtures is opening game of the season, last game of the season, Boxing Day, New Year's Day. We don't play on New Year's Day, we play on the 2nd against West Ham. Boxing Day away from home, last game of the season away from home against City, first game of the season away from home against Tottenham. So, not that it matters much at the moment because there's not going to be any fans in the stadiums anyway, but there you go. It is what it is, innit? Can't do much about it.
It is a tough opening game, that though.
Certainly is. It's going to be a real big ask. Terry says the fixtures are fiddled for TV with away first game, last game and Boxing Day, which of course means Liverpool are at home for all of those. There you go, exactly. Exactly, certainly does. Avik says...
away Boxing Day anyway, I've always got an hangover.
Avik says, is there any chance we sign Ivan Perisic? I don't think so. Lavin says, what position do you think Everton will finish with Allan? Hopefully within the top 8 or 9, mate. We'll do one more then before we finish up. Sean says Gomez is a class midfielder. Gomez is class in a 5-man midfield or 4-3-3. Doesn't suit 4-4-2. I agree. Mitchell says, does Allan speak English? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I'd probably assume, but again, that's probably just a silly assumption on me. I don't know. But if he doesn't, he will learn. He will learn, I assume, like every other player does. Stephen says Allan and Doucouré will be great signings, but Gomez's position will be in jeopardy. It would, but Gomez hasn't impressed me. So as far as Gomez is concerned, up your game or see you later. He didn't.
I think with Allan and Doucouré, I just think it's sort of a match made in heaven, to be honest.
Yep, spot on. And if that means Gomez comes out the team, then so be it. He'll have to fight his way back into it.
I've got no qualms about Gomez coming on.
Yeah, spot on, mate. Spot on. Rome says, lads, have you had any issues with the training kit, with the kit or the training gear? I haven't personally. Yourself, Jordan? No, I don't think you have you?
No, I wore it last week to footy and scored a few goals. So no, I'm just.
If anything, it's better.
Nothing's really happened, but. I've only watched it the once, so
there you go. We'll keep you updated on that one. We're going to end the live stream there. Then, if you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does mean a massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. We'll be back hopefully within the next few weeks or so with another live stream. Keep your eye out for information regarding Allan and Doucouré, and we'll see where those end up over the next couple of weeks or so. Honestly, I really do hope that by the next time we sit down, we've at least brought one of these players in, and I'm confident that it'll be Allan if any of the two, if not both. Big thanks to Jordan for coming on, mate.
Thanks, cheers, mate. Really enjoyed it. Nice one.
No worries at all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave the video a like. Big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments. Really do appreciate it. If you're watching as a YouTube video, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we'll get involved with as many of them as possible. Big thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon. There you go.